Hi, this is Swara Bhasker in conversation with the voice of fashion. I would like to believe, I don't know if it's true, that I have a somewhat higher awareness about my craft. I may not be able to pull it off every time, but I think I'm able to have some fair sense of what should be done, how it should be played craft-wise. When I say craft, I mean like the technical stuff, like the body language, the vocabulary, the the energy you want to bring to a character.
कहाँ घूम के आया?
परमेश्वर एक बार गए थे वैष्णो देवी।
हम गोवा और स्विट्जरलैंड की बात कर रहे हैं, तुम्हारी तीर्थ यात्रा की नहीं।
हमारी किस्मत में स्विट्जरलैंड होता तो हम घर भर के चड्डियाँ कच्चियाँ धोतियाँ ना घिस रहे होते।
There is a very common misconception that films are about actors or that the actor is the most important thing in a film. My realization has been in 10 years or 12 years of acting is that we're really the least important thing in a film. This is not an actor's medium. It is the director's medium. We're really not the most important thing. This is a technical medium, and there is all the power is to make it, to create it, lies with the director. It's also a medium of cheating. Because it's such a technical medium, there are many ways in which you can manipulate the body of the actor, the performance of the actor, to kind of get what you want if the actor is not being able to deliver. So there's a lot that goes into that. So I think I have a better sense of all this now. I've always been a very greedy actor. I've always been very ambitious about the kind of parts I get. So I tend to choose like really meaty parts. I tend to choose parts that will give me a chance to perform. I think I have a very good sense, touch wood, and I hope it remains, of which part is going to be or will give me the potential of creating a memorable performance.
I'm going back to work. Suspension order dismiss हो गया मेरा.
अरे वाह, congratulations. कैसे किया?
I negotiated. को याद है बचपन में मेरी हथेली में झुनझुन हुआ करता था?
हाँ?
पता नहीं, कल रात से फिर से हो रहा है. लगता है कुछ अजीब होने वाला है.
What kind of projects am I looking at now? Of course, like, meaty stuff that gives me a part, a chance to sort of, do more, learn more, explore more, do new things. That said, it's not always in my hands because, as actors, we're only being able to, like, choose from the pool that you're being offered. And sometimes that's very slim pickings. So I sometimes just have to, like, pick the best of what there is out there for me. It's actually a constant hustle, let's put it like this. I used to jokingly say that, I chose a profession where I spit in my education. And then I was like, well, but that's a really stupid and arrogant thing to say because it's not true. Because I realized, I began to think about how I work and how I prep. And I realized that my education has not at all gone waste because actually I am bringing to my prep everything that I have learnt as a student of liberal arts, as a student of literature, and as a student of sociology. When I get a script, the first thing I'm doing, and it's coming naturally to me because that's just my training, is that I'm doing a really close textual analysis of the script, right? Because that's just how I read. Then I'm doing like a character breakdown and an analytical breakdown. All of this is really what we learn to do with our novels. I come from a supporting actor space, right? I've kind of worked my way up the credit list, right? So when especially in films where I was not there a lot, or there were big gaps between when I was showing up in the film and then a few scenes later I'm not there and then I come up. So I would write out everything my character was doing in the middle. So I'd fill in everything that I've done. So there'd be another story of this character that's kind of going on. You don't necessarily see it on screen, but it's all just internal work for me.
सौता रही है तेरी लौट के.
कुत्ते मर जा उस कुतिया के पीछे. 8 साल में उसका बुखार नहीं उतरा ना? हार्ड में जा कुंदन.
मुरारे! जियो मेरी जान!
सड़ के मरेगी वो देखना तू.
And then the other thing as a sociology student that I would do is I look at my character and I'm like, where is she born? Who are her parents? Bindiya from Ranjana is a girl who her dad's a constable in UP police, fairly low in the hierarchy. Her mother is a housewife. She's never been outside Banaras, Bindiya. She doesn't speak English. So her body language is not going to have this gesture. This is a gesture we get from American television. And this rolling your eyes on this, these. So this is not, you can't use these gestures for a a character like Bindiya or Chanda in Nil Bate Sanata or Anarkali, frankly, or even Shivangi in Jahancharyar. But in Veere Di Wedding, Sakshi, I felt like when I was playing Sakshi, my eyes were just constantly up.
Get a fucking job, Sakshi.
फिर तेरे लिए राजमा चावल कौन बनाएगा रोज रोज NRI?
I'm also choosing my roles because I'm this person and I'm from this, like I have this set of beliefs, I have this thinking, I have this ideology. If I was a different kind of person, I may not have done like Anarkali and Nil Bate.
संभल के यूं कुछ चल रही हूँ मैं, खड़ी हूँ फिर क्यों लागे के फिसल रही हूँ मैं.
I hate the word bold because like what does it even mean? Okay, bold और आज हमारे साथ है बहुत ही bold, talented. I'm like bold का क्या मतलब होता है यार? I'm an actor जो script में है, I do that. What is bold in doing your job?
मैं स्टाफ रूम में टेस्ट चेक कर रही थी, ये कब से घूर रहे थे, मैंने इन्हें इग्नोर किया, फिर पास आते हैं और कहते हैं आप बताएंगे क्या साहित्यिक रचनाएं मुंह से झड़ रही थी कि मैं बताऊं? सर कहते हैं ब्लाउज थोड़ा छोटा नहीं हो गया आपका, आप कहें तो मैं नाप लेके नया बनवा देता हूं, मैं लूं नाप.
It's my doing. Let's start there. I did a whole bunch of things and I said a whole bunch of things and I keep doing it, and that's why we have these sort of adjectives. And I know that people say it, they're coming from a good place. I feel like telling people like, dude, I exist outside Twitter. I'm just a regular person. My whole life is not sitting on Twitter and like fighting with politicians. Kamal Pandey, who is the director of Jahancharyar, when I met him and a week had passed and I became very friendly with him and good friends with him, and he's a really sweet man. And I started talking to him a lot. I'm a big oversharer also. So like I was like giving him all kinds of unnecessary information about my life and my personal life and my love life and what a mess it is. He's just like, okay. And then at one point he was like, you know, Swara, मुझे कतई पता नहीं था कि तुम ऐसी हो, मतलब तुम जो लगती हो ट्विटर पे और जो तुम्हारे बारे में जो इमेज है तुम बिल्कुल वैसी नहीं हो. And I was like, yeah, and a lot of people feel they're very surprised and they'll be like, you know, you're actually really nice. And I'm like, yeah, why not though? As an outsider to the industry, someone who's worked their way up with auditions, failure and rejection have been my most constant companions. And I think it is a, you know, this idea that some huge break will happen in your life and then you will be successful. And successful means that you will never be poor, never fail at anything, never have to face a rejection or a loss. This is simply not true. I try to steel myself to it and I try to just bite it. I see it as a phase where you just have to put your head down and bite it and hope that it will pass, because I think the most beautiful thing about our lives is that time, one, that time heals everything and then time keeps passing. So things will just, they'll keep, I mean, something will have to change. I've got my own really sort of pedestrian kind of weird philosophy now about like how to live life. And it's not very highbrow at all, and a lot of it is inspired from quotes from Instagram and like, you know, these comforting books. I still like reading, and I find it very not just stimulating creatively but also very therapeutic and very healing. So if I'm ever in a bad place, in a dark place or in a low place, all of which happens often, I've developed this thing where I start, it's like a hack almost. I just go back to the, you know, the what is called the canon of classics. Huge George Eliot fan. So I remember being very heartbroken in this one phase of, this is like 2 years ago and 3 years ago, and I read Middlemarch, and that was my like way to like work things out. I like traveling. I like going to new places, and I don't like I like cities that are old and that have a lot of like some history, architecture, like small town. I love small towns. Even if there's like just two things, like a really old clock tower, a ghanta ghar, or you know, some one other old thing, I'm like, that's good enough for me for like 2 days. So, like I remember going to Morocco and I went to Fez. And everyone was like, why do you want to go to Fez? It's really dirty. And I was like, but it's so old. I find it very stimulating to like just chat with people. Like I think that especially in these times when there is such a stupidification of society all across and of discourse all across, I think a good conversation with someone who has a good mind and someone who has like, who can like, you know, like the intellectual banter, it is so rare. I'm not a movie buff in the way in which a lot of people are, or you think that an actor should be. My mother's always sort of shaming me about like the fact that, you know, what kind of an actor are you? You don't watch anybody else's work and it's so arrogant. She's like, it's both ignorant and arrogant at the same time. So I was like, okay, yes, it probably is. To be able to give expression to my ideas and my imagination and my imaginings without being scared of, you know, Twitter boycotts, controversies, what my, you know, or to have producers breathing down my neck and being like, don't say this, yaar, ye ho jayega, wo ho jayega, FIR ho jayega. That. And to be able to explore uncomfortable questions through art. My creative life right now is very selfish. It's just me fulfilling my ambitions in a very personal sense, and then like, you know, roping in like talented people in a team to kind of, but just all about me and my plan and my vision and my red carpet event and my like whatever, you know, film and that. So I hope that in some years I will be able to have a more collective kind of a project. I mean, sometimes I still do it, like in terms of the kind of, you know, I've been organizing these protest music and theatre like little festivals, and we did something called India My Valentine 2 years ago, and that was like really deeply creatively fulfilling sort of experience for me. So I think I want to be able to kind of do some of that more.